Yet I know for many people, it's not something that you like so much, and that is research. Now, many that have gone through school, at one time you had to present to do research, present your research findings. Many organizations, many institutions, many non-governmental organizations, research is part of life. Scientists in the laboratories do research, people in organizations do research, but there is the digital way of doing research. Leave alone the analog way, where it's paper and all that. And today we want to know more about digital research, or research using digital systems. We say we are in a digital world. We moved away from analog. The world is a global village. Things are changing day by day. Technology, actually, new developments every time. Apps, softwares come up. And joining me on set to discuss this is Ogwal Martin, who happens to be the CEO of Mood Technologies. And he will tell us first what they do, then we will dive deeper into understanding why you should apply digital systems when it comes to conducting research. Good morning, Ogwal, and welcome to our studios.
Yeah, good morning, Robert, and good morning, all our viewers. It's a great day in Uganda, so we'll enjoy the show.
To start with, my viewers must know that the person I have really qualifies, understands the topic at hand. Now, when we talk about Mood Technologies, what is this all about?
Yeah, we are a firm that is key in handling research, in digitizing the processes of research. I heard you say that people don't like it. I was surprised.
Whenever it was.
For us, it is fun. We just enjoy doing this. So what we do is to break down all the complications that you think of. Maybe you'll tell me some within the time we're going to be talking, so that we find how also to bring you on board. So we handle a lot of processes in the research, and this is starting from the time of preparation up to the final product, when you have delivered the results, the reports, and so on. For people who do presentations, we'll be having presentations ready to have your team share. So this is great. So starting from the planning, digitizing the questionnaire, data collection, analysis, up to report writing. Yeah,
I remember one time I had done research, and I went in this room of experts to defend my research. I think that was one of my hardest moments, because these are people that know so much, even more than you do. And you have your research, and they are listening attentively, questioning every process, data collection, that sample space. And then you're like, I hope I saw through. But the good Lord enabled me. Now, when we talk about digital systems in research, what are we referring to?
Yeah, so first of all, we have a lot of ways the research has been done traditionally. You know, our great, if you see in the archaeological history, you see that people have written on stones. People have writings where we are discovering in there's that ink mark where you would put your data, and so on. And this has been a key kind of happening that has shaped our future. We learn from the past, we learn from the present, and we improve on our future. So bringing in digital tools enhances and builds in the speed and improves on the capability for us to deliver such in a much better way, not like our grandparents used to do, our great ancestors used to do. Yeah, so now we have a very modern way, easy, faster to have the research done. Yeah.
Now, when you talk about that, it brings me to what does it take for someone to conduct and carry out research using digital systems?
So first of all, the digital systems, we could go back to see what systems are we talking about. I could so we are living in a world where technology has so much improved what we do. Actually, one person can do a lot of things with the enhancement of technologies. I could give you an example. In 1969, we sent our brothers to the moon. Can you imagine the phone I'm holding is 32,000 times more powerful than the machine that took people to the moon. Just this. And I can hold it in my hand. And how much can we explore this capability to enhance our research? Those rockets that went for the lunar mission for the Apollo 11 in 1969 was that kind of law in technology. So we have a lot of enhanced capabilities. We have a lot of devices, smartphones. We're talking about tablets. We're talking about very smart computers. Computers have grown into become very powerful machines, and they're becoming cheaper. If I can afford to buy this, but could not buy a space craft that could launch man to the moon, you can see how cheaper technology has become. We hold a lot of power in our hands, which we can use for research, and that is very key. So it takes a lot of people need to do planning, first of all, to conduct a research. So research is so much impact-driven in that by the time you go into doing a research, you should have done a planning. You need to set your objectives clear. That is number one. I take a case in point if you want to have an impact of maybe improving health in a community. You could set your objectives to improve on sanitation facilities, which is easier to do in the homesteads, improving on people having pit latrines, people having where their livestock sleeps. Do you know? people are sleeping with their animals in the same house. I know you could know a lot about this. So people sharing, you find in the village, people share the same household. There's chickens sleeping under the bed. The goats are tied, of course, on the veranda. Then the children are sleeping there. You have your produce in the bags next to your bed and so on. So if you want to improve on the health of people, you could look at that, and then you look at improving on pit latrines. Those could be your key objectives. Now the thing is, how do I get to do this? How do I get to do the research? How do I plan to conduct a research? What do I want at the end of the day? So if your need is to improve on health, then you could say, by the way, is the community unhealthy? That would be question number one. So you only know that by going into the community, asking people a few questions, coming back, analyzing it, and interpreting it with your team. So it takes time. There's need for you to plan. There is need for you to set your objectives clear. Then, of course, you're going to do a research. So you need to collect data. So you need to look at what kind of team you're going to assemble for this data collection. You need enumerators, you need experts who can analyze data and so on. But key thing is also you have to look at your budget because all this takes a bit of cost. Research involves cost. You said you had your presentation. You could have called me.
And it is actually, research is expensive as well.
Yeah, it's expensive if you approach it in the older way. Yeah, so when you go with papers,
digitalized.
If you don't digitalize it, you spend a lot of time. First of all, going to the field, collecting that, coming back to the office, you're starting to go through the papers and so on. Those are very traditional means. So it takes a bit of planning. You need to set your impacts. You need to get your impacts clear. You need to set your objectives very clear. You need to look at what kind of team you're going to be having, look at the logistics and also the budget you have. So, and also one more thing is, after all this, where will the result go? So that informs a lot in the research. Yes.
Now, you've mentioned these steps, but to someone watching us this morning, a number of organizations run on research. And why should I choose to use digital systems and move away from the traditional way? We have to employ young girls, run to the field, papers, move here and there. Why should I opt for this? Because one may think, and I stand to be corrected, maybe it's even more expensive compared to the other. What are the advantages of ensuring that I digitalize, I use digital systems in research?
Oh, you must have run an expensive research already. So
Yes, it was quite expensive.
So digital research is actually much more cheaper. If you first look at the stages involved in traditional ways of collecting data, number one, you have to print papers. You have this. If let's say you're targeting a community of 1,500 households, you could choose maybe like 300 households and say, let me go and interview them if they can represent the community. So that means if you have 10 pages of questionnaire, you're printing about 3,000 papers. There's printing cost in all this. So the second thing is that you take this, drive it to the field, hoping you don't get fire catching your papers, or rain doesn't rain on it, or somebody just pours water on it. So let's assume that you went through well, got to the field, asked the respondents, your household, about what's their current status in terms of health, and then if somebody is filling these with a pen and send it back, you collect them back and bring them to your office, and then you start the entry. So you have to still, you talked about sending the young girls to the field. So now you need another set of young girls back at the office to enter it, hoping they can read the handwritings of those people who went to the field. That's a very key point of error. Someone writes a 4, it looks like a 9. So those are kind of errors that you already find with that. Then you have to do what we call double data entry, because the first person has entered data and you think you needed a second look into that. So you get another second team. Remember, all these stages you're meeting cost. Then you now do the cleaning part, removing errors and all that. You do analysis and the end results you get into. Now, this kind of processes, first of all, with the digital means, you do not need papers. You'll have to use a phone or a tablet.
True.
So printing cost?
Eliminated.
Eliminated. Your risk of worry is where you're going to have sleepless nights, whether the papers will come back safe, is also gone. Then also, you're looking at the cost of people doing re-entry. The cost is gone. The cost of the second set of people doing another re-entry is gone. And then you also look at, you have a fairly clean data when it is well programmed, so you do not need a lot of data cleaning. And with the capabilities that we have now in devices, you can even have your results instant. So a lot of time is cut out, a lot of cost is reduced, and the time you spend in the field, by the way, counts a lot, because if you're supposed to spend 10 days using a digital system, when you're using papers, because somebody has to go through question by question, you might end up spending 15 days, and every single day in the field is a cost.
It's a cost, yes.
And it's a heavy cost. So there's a lot of cost cutting in using digital means to do research, which if anybody's still using the traditional way, please let's shift from that. Yeah.
Now, one of the things I found also in research is time taken. I know there are some research that will go on and go on and go on. So when we talk about digital research, Mood is one of those entities or companies that we know that are doing so much when it comes to digital research. And from your experience, how long does it take in case I want a research to be done, research in any field, and I come to Mood Technologies and I'm like, I want digital, it is easy to share digital information. It is easy to follow up, because systems, sometimes the apps that can correct and all that. So how long can it take?
Because there are two things. The length it takes for you to plan to start a research, or actually to make a complete until you get your results. Because there are two things there. So the planning stage, first of all, most of the organizations spend a lot of time planning on what kind of questions to ask. So these are like formulating questionnaire, which is mostly called the tools. Yeah, so that is what takes a bit of time. Then, of course, the rest of the field work now takes time up to data analysis. A key point is that when you digitize the process, digitizing a research, depending on the number of questions, within 1 or 2 days, you'll have your paperwork put into a tablet form. And that is quick. If you're talking about results, now like for our side, like for Mood Technologies, if you go to our website, mt.co.ug, you'll find that the results already, when you submit your data, the server picks this result and automatically analyzes it instantly. So you do not have to wait to assemble a second team to analyze data, because we have capabilities. Like I was saying, that we have got devices that are very capable. We just need to explore these capabilities and use it to our advantage. Why would someone take 6 months or 1 year when actually we can have it in a minute? We have systems. We have very advanced computers to do this.
Now, when you talk about systems, one of the things that I find every time research is being done, how do I get to know the location? I know there are many institutions that are employed to do research. They will tell you sample space was here, then it wasn't there. Under digital research, I moved to this location, they never reached, because I know the number of firms that people hire to do research. And many of them don't use digital systems. So sometimes we tell people bring the papers, we look at them. So the digital systems in research, are there methods or solutions for me to look at location? Are there mappings or something like that?
Yeah, so it's one of those big trouble people have. You know, you send a team in the field, they sit under a tree.
They fill and come give you completely
fill up the papers and bring them back to you. So you say, well, the research is done, the results is just something else, and it's not representing the community. So people explore these inefficiencies in using papers. Somebody can sit in the sitting room or go and sit under the tree and fill up 10 questions, 10 questionnaires. They have talked to 10 respondents. They're seated under their tree, or they're seated in the sitting room and submit you back, because you have no way of knowing where the study was done. But if you use digital means, we have capabilities in these devices of GPS. Now, GPS is a very pinpoint kind of location system that we explore a lot in these studies. And almost all, not only most, almost all the devices that are now smart have GPS. And they also have what we call an AGPS. Most people buy phones and do not read the boxes inside. But you find that GPS is no longer now called just GPS, it's AGPS. That means if you have a SIM card in your phone, it can help your phone get GPS location much faster. Even within a building, you could try to get, but without that, you cannot get GPS location within a building, because your device, your phone, your tablet has to be in direct sight with a satellite for it to get a location. So these kind of capabilities are what we automate in the tools which we use for data collection. For all our clients, unless they say, no, do not track GPS location, then we turn the feature off. But at the start, we get this feature set to do that. So every point where an interview was done is located, and this comes to the server and gets plotted onto a map. You would see some of them when you go to our website, mt.co.ug, and then you see that the locations where people have gone are so much plotted, very clear. If someone was doing it, you know, GPS you cannot modify, and you have a point. If you make a small change, you might end up in Indian Ocean. You moved from Kampala to Indian Ocean and you're doing an interview in an ocean. What kind of hustle was there? So, so GPS is a lot accurate, and these are capabilities we put into these digital systems to help us pinpoint locations of research. You can not only to see where the people have been interviewed. A number of times project leaders want to know how much area the project is covering. Where are the beneficiaries of the project located? How are they sparsely distributed? How far are homesteads from one another? How far is one village from the next? Which sub-county did we go to? And how are the households sampled, spaced up? So this informs a lot of decisions in advancing your project forward. Yeah, so all these capabilities are in our devices, which we exploit that.
Interesting when it comes to research, and we are looking at digital-based research. How do we conduct research in the modern day world? How do we move away from moving with the papers, the analog way of doing things? And much as there are so many people that engage or carry out various research, now things have moved. Many organizations want research that is done digitally because it is easy to share at every level of it. You can make any checks to find out. Technology helps you to fight a number of gaps, intended or not intended, that will affect the findings of this research. Allow me to go for a short break. I'll return and we'll still be discussing and getting to know more regarding digital systems being used in carrying out or conducting research.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Juko.
Yo.
Wachiko. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model, PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
This is the University of Africa. On the streets, you get your real education. Here, everybody has a degree of something. But the most important qualification is imagination. His reason is to be the GOAT. The reason to imagine is to take the beat and make it lit. So no matter what your situation, just use your imagination.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Good morning, Uganda Extra. Thank you for being with us right from the hour of 6:30 till now, because that is when we begin off with Good Morning Uganda. So much laughter, so much jokes here, yet very informative, because we're sure we give you an overview of what is happening locally and internationally, and we have a number of segments there. The press review, sports updates, the beat, of course, the Good Morning Uganda agenda, where we have a guest. And now we are in Good Morning Uganda Extra, an extension of Good Morning Uganda. I'm Robert Chirabonyitono, and I have the CEO of Moods Technology, Martin Ogwal, with me as we are discussing using digital systems in research. We rightly know that research is part of anything. And one great philosopher once said, "He who has not researched has no right to speak," because it is only when you research, you have the right facts, you can defend the facts, then in a gathering of experts, reasonable people. That is when you can speak. But I think it became an extreme too, and maybe somehow. But still talking about research, what are some of the challenges of using digital research? Because we've talked about there's so much good in it. Now let's look at some of the challenges.
Yeah, so the good thing is that everything has both sides. It's just that one side outweighs the other. For the digital research, the advancement in technology so much outweighs the old methods. But challenges come in when we're using technologies in terms of the devices that we have. First of all, you need the device itself. You need to have the phone. You need to have the tablet. So you need to acquire them. Of course, it is something that we have assisted most organizations already in that we hire out tablets at a very low cost, like $2.50, that's around $10,000 per day, instead of spending like $300 to buy a tablet to use. So, of course, you need to have the device itself. And secondly, these devices use power. They need to be charged. So key areas where you're moving to, you should locate where possible points of charging these devices can be located. And the other thing is the human-to-human interaction, of course. We're used to talking, like we're chatting now. If we put a device in front of us and we're interacting, and I'm only stuck on my phone, it looks a little bit unhuman, right? So it needs training for people who are going to use it on how to interact with the respondent. You know, most of the time, the people who are collecting data go in the community, and they could have not been part of that community from the beginning. You go from Kampala, you go to Wakiso and do interviews with these households, and naturally we are welcoming. In Africa, I've moved in many countries. We are mostly welcoming. Even in countries outside Africa, so many people are welcoming. So when you're a guest, they want to talk to you. So that challenge comes when you have bridged between yourself and the person responding with a device. So there's a lot of training that needs to be done, which we do a lot, on how to interact at the same time use a device. So that is important. So those are a few areas that we normally advise organizations to look at keenly, have the devices ready, locate where you're going to be charging them, and train the people who are going to use them well. Those could be key challenges in the ages, if not well addressed. Yeah.
Well, communication. Imagine a stranger coming and asking someone. I have already seen this actually, the number of government researchers that I've seen, mostly in the field of health, even right when we have, I think the last was during census.
Okay.
I remember some person was asked if they had a TV set. I think it was about a TV set. And this man felt offended because he believed, why couldn't he have a TV set? And why would you have to quote? Do you have some animals? Do you rear? He said, but these are too many questions. From my sitting room now to what I own, now to the number of children I have, now to this. And it's very important in research for you to be able to really have those communication skills. And I think they also sometimes will determine if you get the right information or wrong information. Now, when we still talk over this digital, what are some of the available options for organizations to disseminate this information?
So information dissemination depends on what you're disseminating. I can tell you in about an hour from now, we're going to be sending messages to farmers in eastern Uganda. My team is set up already waiting to do that. Thousands of farmers. But this one informing them about planting material. This is planting season for them. So we need to disseminate information. After doing the research and getting the findings, how are you going to solve this problem? If the problem is that people are not having good yield of crops when they plant, how are you going to address it? Now, like for the organization that has contracted us to do that for now, they found that the issue was people using poor materials, poor quality. So they go and put them in particular locations. Now we need to alert people that these materials are available, the seeds are available, you can go and pick them from this location. So we disseminate that information to those particular people. Now, disseminating information, the method you approach it depends on what kind of information, because you could go and do a radio broadcast, you could do a TV, do the audience watch TV? Do they listen to the radio? And with the radio, you're reaching everyone. Do you only want to reach particular groups of people? If you have selected groups of people, then do they have mobile phones? Then you could reach them on their phones. If you need to broadcast it to everybody, then you would broadcast it on a radio or TV. If they have access to newspapers, you would use a newspaper. Now, those are kind of people in our community, but there are classes of people who are in the office. People of your class, you can access things on the internet. We can send you emails, develop apps where you can go into and get all the results. So information dissemination is mostly targeted to the audience. If you're talking about donors, you have to send them a summary report. You can use emails, you can publish it on the website, and then they can reach it and get it. Yeah.
Very interesting, more knowing about how we can use digital systems in research. Very effective, very fast, and of course more accurate, because there's so much that these systems bring to your attention. Now, when we talk about research, also there's an element of monitoring and supervision. How do these digital systems enhance this?
Yeah, monitoring the field activities. Yeah, so one of the things is that you talked about locations, and if we have a combination of, like we normally do, a combination of where the research is being conducted, you have results coming to a dashboard. You can now, even if you are in the office or you're in the field or you've traveled to another country, you can easily see this result, set up, see if it is going the direction you expected, and realign the team if something is not right. So most of the people who are interested in monitoring research are supervisors or key project leaders. If you're doing a student research, of course, you as a student would want to see how the direction your research is going to. So digital tools now enable you to get these pinpoint locations, get results instantly, and you're able to see the direction your research is taking. Yes.
I can see time is a bit flying, but of course there's more that we can learn about digital systems when it comes to research. But I also want to now get from your side, as more technologies, what has been your input, into this? Today I still see very many organizations that are still carrying out research not using digital systems. In school, actually, digital systems are not there. Most of go to universities, most of the students don't have a feel or understand how best they can apply systems. What softwares do we use? What are the complications there, and how do we better push this? Because every day the world is shifting, becoming more global. It's a global village, more technologies are coming on. And if we are still in this common way of doing research, I still meet a lot of people with the papers asking me, can you help me, this, that, Sometimes you're right, they can't read. So how do we promote this?
Yeah, we need to pass the good message to the people, because I think we need to create that kind of awareness, like we're having a discussion now. These options are available, cheaper and faster. So we need to pass this good message to everyone. If you meet them, like you're saying, your friends, let them know. Let them go to more technologies.
But is this also limited to geographical location? There are places we have in this country where an internet connection is not yet there, the internet connection, or if it's there, it's very disturbing internet.
You do not need internet to use a digital tool. When you're not having access to internet, you need internet to upload this data to the server. But the tools that we design work offline. So the villages and so on where there is poor network, you only need the devices, the smartphones, the tablets installed with these apps. So you go there, collect it. When you get where there is internet, you upload it to the server. That's when you need internet. So you do not need constant connectivity. So the key things you asked about how we are helping in this, in that we start from square one. That is the questionnaire design. You talked a bit about somebody being asked about a TV, then they asked about livestock and about children, and he was already getting frustrated. Yeah, so we start from that point, that which questions are relevant for which kind of respondent. That's the starting point. So that goes into the design of the questionnaire itself. I mean, this is programmed like the way we do. We digitize it and put what we call the skips. You do not ask somebody a question that does not apply to them. If somebody has already listed what you have and they say, I'm a farmer, I'm not owning maybe livestock, there's no need of asking them, I'm doing crop production, I'm not doing livestock, or I'm doing livestock, I'm not doing this. All the questions about what they're not doing are skipped. So that annoyance you got, either you or your friend got, would be cut out. So we get from that point of questionnaire design, digitizing it, and going to the result point. But before that, we have to train the team. We trained the team on how to handle research. We talked about bridging between human communication and modern devices. So we trained the team and put for you results. Results go into dashboards because the reason you're going to the field, first of all, is to get results, not to have a busy team of, you said, young ladies? Of course, they're young men also. So not having a busy team in the field, and you end up coming back and, okay, everybody gets payment, going home, nothing else. The key point of your doing research is to get the results. So we start from that point that we have designed the tools well, we have digitized it well, we have collected the data well, so now we give you results, we do analysis. Dashboard for instant results, and then complex analysis where you need to look into deeper other aspect of data which is not on the dashboard. Then we sit down and look at those areas and analyze it. So that is a process that goes through all this, which is where we come in. Then you go to the report writing. If you have to send a report somewhere or you want to use this result for presentations, I can tell you, you go into presentations, if you find you've started a presentation and someone is asking, can you share with us the slides? It's a disturbing question. At the beginning of a presentation, that means already what you're presenting is messed up. They have switched off, maybe they're thinking about their wedding meetings, somebody's birthday party.
They're not interested. The way you, they're not.
Yeah, so
but
so
there's also a culture sometimes. I've gone to some of these conferences, and the presentation, as you enter, you already have it. So before someone even goes, on program, then so-and-so's presentation is already in hard copy. You're seated with it, so you just have to follow. Yet it's also presenting there.
Well, that is kind of...
and yes, someone may not pay attention since they have the slides somehow.
So now they start thinking about the birthday parties.
Because I know I have it, I can go and read through it my own.
So presentation has to be something that is revealing the findings. And it should be interesting to the people whom you have invited to attend. Because if you invite a wrong group of people, so you'll have a lot of people switching their minds off. Our brains are very smart, I can tell you. We know how to save energy. If you know, I already have the presentation on my paper, why spend 30 minutes listening to someone talk? I can go back and read it. So you save that energy and start thinking about maybe what happened in the village or whatever, and so on. So you have audience, but not attending to you. So we look at key point in how that is being presented. How do we put them in graphs, in charts, in tables, depending on the audience. There are people whom you have collected over 3,000, like we talked about 3,000 pages, and they're only interested to know, are there particular trends? Full stop. whatever you've done all this way.
It's not a concept.
Yeah, so you have to find a good way to present present results. So that's where we come in a lot handy, to see how to bring in the component of presentation. If you're doing this for reports, how to, what components to put in the report, what component was not necessary for that report. So that's where we come in. We clean up all this process, starting from the beginning up to the end.
Definitely. Now, time indeed, I must come to the end of this show, but as we wind up, what are your final remarks to Ugandans, those in research and those that are organizations, individuals? Why should they move to digital now systems in research? Your final remarks.
If you move to digital means, you're going to save a lot of cost and time. You know, time is not something that is so much for us now. Our modern generation, our great-grandfathers would take the time to do a lot of things. You take years to do something, but nowadays it is in minutes. I see if internet goes off for 5 minutes, people are already worried. I've seen this in organizations, and you can see that we are so much time-bound. So research in an old way will take you a lot of time. You'll take, on average, I've seen people taking 6 months, 1 year, even 2 years to just analyze data. Why not shift and do digital, have your results instant, and go have something else? Research is good. We should have some fun doing research and enjoy it. So Ugandans should come embrace the digital way of doing research. Come talk to us. We are open. So you can reach us at any time.
Okay, so that is on, you have a website, Technology Today Moves with Search.
Yeah, our website is www.mt.co.ug. You can go over there, you can reach us. We have contacts, we have our WhatsApp numbers, we have our telephone numbers. You can also send us WhatsApp on 0704.
So someone gets properly to see, once they're there, they can see everything that really you do, and they can also learn better, and I hope also assistance. Mostly I'm playing for the students. You know, one of the hard things, let me tell you, sometimes research becomes a burden, and yet someone has to submit that when they are studying. Now I'm looking at if these students can adopt digital systems in doing research. If more technology can give some bit of guidance on how to run and easily and better do this, that would be very advantageous to our students.
Yeah, so call us, send us WhatsApp on 0704 913399. Reach us on our website. The results there, which we display publicly, if you go to our website, mt.co.ug, students can download and use it for their reports. They can do that. And when they do that, we're saving a lot. Remember, data analysis, the software is costly. We save our people on that. So the students have a lower budget.
So thank you so much, Martin Ogwa. Thank you for your time, and of course an insight into that is digital systems in doing research. We must get away from the old way of doing things, embrace the new way, and of course to the students, please take advantage of this. Get to know how best you can conduct that research, organizations as well. I'm very excited about doing the digital way, more so that they save time and of course money. Papers, movement here and there, hiring so many people, yet one person with digital can gather a number of information and time spent in the field reduced. Have a lovely day. See you tomorrow, God willing, for God and my country.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala.